Last drink. Now you're making me think. July. I want to say maybe end of July. Don't quote me. I want to say around that. No. June. Somewhere around there. It was in the summer. I'm trying to think. It was when I came back. It was just the gummies. I'd put down. I think maybe I'd have like one high noon or something like that, or something.
Yeah.
Like I said, the draw for the alcohol was not there. I think that the shift had happened for me.
Yeah.
So sometime in there.
And I feel like you were saying when you were very open about, you said the gummies,
yes,
right?
Yes.
I feel like there's giving it to God is one thing in of itself and so like freeing, but I feel like being open about it and saying it out loud and telling somebody is also like very powerful. Like somebody, especially like Pastor Sue, like somebody who can keep you accountable and
Well,
somebody.
that's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key is to have the accountability.
Yeah.
That's the deal. That's what helped me come back this last time.
Yeah.
Because when I first started this journey with Bridgewood, I had started there, and every week I would introduce myself to someone new. I was putting myself out there for the accountability.
Yeah.
I put my story out there for the accountability.
Yeah.
Because you can't hide with something out in the open.
Yeah.
There's no hiding. And I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want that shame. I don't want that guilt. I want to go home one day.
Yeah.
I want to be with him. I want to walk hand in hand.
Yeah.
I want that pain away.
Yeah.
Because one day, we're not going to have these worries of this faulted life, of this broken world.
The way it was never meant to be this way.
No. And one day, you and I are going to be whole.
We're going to get to enjoy the life that he wanted us to in the beginning.
But do you know?
And we're going to hang out.
You know it. I already got myself a cul-de-sac crew. You can come too. Right. I call it the cul-de-sac crew. It's all my little churchies around in one cul-de-sac hanging out, you know. Awesome. I think it was Pastor Grant. Maybe it was this past or the prior time he spoke to us. When he actually, I could feel myself going, when he said, you don't know, I want to see my kids grow up. I don't want to leave now. But he's like, why? When your kids fall down, they're not going to scrape their knee. You know what I mean? There's not going to be the pain. There's not going to be the brokenness. There's not going to be, I can't even fathom what that is. But I want it.
Yeah.
Because the closest that I'd come to that is when I am walking right with Christ.
Yeah.
That's the closest I come.
Yeah.
And when I open up that word, there are times that it's like I'll be reading through and I'm like, okay. Or I will just be reading something and just completely become so undone in what I read. That's because it's so good and it's so there.
Yeah.
Like, how do you just read that and you're like, whoa, how long ago was this written? And I can feel it.
Yeah.
It's so alive.
Yeah.
He is so alive.
Yeah. We're getting a taste of his kingdom while we're here.
Yeah.
And it's the only way I want to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear a lot of people say like, "Oh, I'm not ready to go yet. I want to enjoy my life while I can." I mean, we're meant to enjoy, like he wants us to enjoy the things of like certain things,
Yeah.
obviously. But there's so much more he has for us and so much better. Like something that's so indescribable and supernatural that he has for us that is infinitely times better than what we have here.
Yeah.
And I can't wait.
I can't even fathom it though. Like
Yeah.
when you read and then how he specifically brings people together. He specifically, it's in his time.
Yep.
And it's the perfect time.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
How he works. Sometimes I'm like, you know, but it is perfect timing.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah.
And things work out. Just say yes, you know? Just grab a hold and go for the ride.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And it's, are you in any classes?
Yeah.
Which one are you taking?
Dan's.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we're
in
it
the
together.
same class. Hello. Yeah.
And then I'm in a life group on Mondays.
I'm in a Thursday women's.
Yeah, mine's Monday. We get together like every other week and watch videos and then discuss them. Like
that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm in a women's skills, and it's awesome.
Who's the leader of that
one? Peggy and Jen.
Okay.
And it's been incredible.
Yeah.
It's been incredible. And I know just from some of my other past like groups that I've been in, I have just bonded and made like forever. They're my forever friends.
Yeah.
You know, they're the people that to this day I turn to or I'll text.
Yeah.
You know, constantly, and you know, I turn to. You know.
Yeah. Jen Rigg.
Yeah, Jen Riggs. Jen Riggs is the leader of the Thursday class.
Yeah, I think I did. It was last semester. I was actually in a men's skills one for a little bit with Adam.
Okay. Yeah, he's
So
awesome.
I'm assuming it's pretty much the same thing, just women. But
yeah, I think he runs the men's one. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love them.
Oh, they're awesome. They're awesome. They've been really great with my kids too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, there's some awesome people at Bridgewood.
Yeah.
I mean, they're more than friends though. They are family.
Yeah.
They are family.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a really great relationship with you know, my folks.
Yeah.
And my sister and stuff. So they've really come in and helped me along.
Yeah. It's different and it's hard. I have this struggle in my life as well, as like with family and being a believer, and some people in the family not, and it's just like a
you're
clash.
At a a crossroads.
Like it's unfortunate because you love these people so much, but it's just like different beliefs, different values that get in the way, and that can cause distance, and it's unfortunate, but sometimes all you can do is just sit back and pray.
That's where I'm kind of at. That's kind of what led me into the women's skills
Yeah.
uh, group.
Mhm.
Was I've got to put myself back together to be able to be what I need to be for my children, for my husband,
Yeah.
a woman of God.
Mhm.
He doesn't want me to be broken.
Yeah.
He wants me to be whole and complete, and I've got to look to him to help me through it.
Yeah.
So it's scary,
Yeah.
but we're doing it.
Yeah. Do you have any other family members who go to
Yes.
Bridgewood?
Actually, you might know him. My Uncle Ray. Uncle Stutzy.
The
Ray
drummer?
Stutzman. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's my uncle.
Yeah, he was in my class with Adam too. And
Yeah.
yeah, he's really
He's
nice.
awesome.
Love him.
He's
a nice
awesome.
guy.
He married my mom's sister,
Okay.
Aunt Judy.
Okay.
And then my cousin Shayna,
Okay.
Shayna Stutzman. She
Okay.
goes to Bridgewood
That's
as well.
his daughter,
Yes,
right?
that's the
Okay.
youngest.
Yeah. I don't think
And
I've ever personally met her, but I know of her.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's Shay. She's like my I just we're tight.
Yeah.
So she's always around for dinner and
Yeah.
comes and hangs out with kids and
Yeah.
all that. So I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Not family wise that goes to Bridgewood.
Is your husband?
No.
No.
No. He's a believer.
Yeah.
But he is at the point where he says, well, I don't have to go to church to.
Mhm.
So what I'm doing is I'm praying.
Yeah.
I'm making big prayers. I'm making big moves because if I can get set on fire for Christ, I know he can. And it's prayer.
Yeah.
And it's prayer and it's digging in.
Prayer and
I don't push him. That's it.
Living it.
That's it. And I don't push him, and he can see me get up and go to church, and I openly read my Bible in front of him and study my word, and he'll even, well, honey, let me shut the TV off, or I'll go up and he'll keep the kids so I can get into the word and study.
Mhm.
And he sees me going to the classes and doing all that. So and to get back, kind of jump back, because I know you had said, leaping for joy to not, have you ever taken Starting Point? I always call it miss the bus. I call that the bus class.
Yeah.
Just, I feel a tug.
Yeah.
In that department, because as much as I want to hightail it out of here as quick as I can, I have that tug to say, what about my guy? What about my husband?
Be the salt. Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of feel that tug, because I am appreciating God's patience and God's timing to get as many.
It's a beautiful way to look at it.
As he can, because I am praying every single day that he's going to be up there with me on that bus.
Yeah.
Sitting shoddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm praying for. But I'll tell you, where I'm kind of at even with that is I'm gonna do like I'm doing with everything else, and I'm just gonna trust.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trust.
Yeah.
And have faith.
Mm-hmm.
And know there's a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And know that he's got the whole thing laid out in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that's one of our jobs, is to try and make heaven more crowded.
I'm there.
I love that. I love that you
right
mentioned
there.
that perspective, by the way. Is like I'm ready to go, but I also want to get as many people as I can with me and bring them along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're called to do.
Yeah. And that brings me back to a little bit of like the childlike thing, is like it's so being honest, it's so hard for me to like just go up to a random person and just talk about God, you know?
Oh,
Unless
I
it's like
love it. I love it.
unless it's like in church, like like me and people that are already believing will like I could talk about God for hours and hours, but like let's say if like I feel the Holy Spirit like, "Oh, you need to go up and pray for this person at the grocery store or something like there's something that they're struggling with something. Oh, that's hard for me." And I feel like that's something that you probably really good
I
at.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love to talk to people.
Yeah.
I love to share.
Yeah.
I love to I when you say let's make heaven crowded, like I want to.
Yeah.
I got that hunger.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandma had a garage sale out here
Hmm.
in the summer,
Okay.
and a young man, probably around your age, early 30s,
Me?
yeah,
I'm
late
29.
20s,
29.
yeah, about your age, came, and he just was moseying and strolling, and I don't know. I had something on TV, and we were just kind of, and somehow Christ came up.
Yeah.
And we were talking and jamming back and forth about it
Mm.
and just being in the Word and being in the Bible and finding a church and where do I go to church and what. And he went walking out. Not even 5 minutes later, he came coming back.
Yeah.
And he said, I felt like I needed to come back.
Yeah.
And we just talked some more.
That's awesome.
But that's the type of stuff.
Yeah.
And when he came back, he says, I really feel this was meant to be.
Mm.
I don't feel like it was by chance
Yeah.
stopping here. He goes, I feel like I was meant to be here.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we do that and if we engage, it happens more times than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because that happened to me yesterday. I was going to I stopped at a Chase Bank and I asked them, "Hey, I'd like to open up a business account." Um, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, like there's no bankers here right now. Like, can you come back later?" I was like, "Okay, I'll make an appointment." So I made an appointment for Monday, and I had to go get like all my paperwork for my business and things like that. So I went home, and being the impatient person that I am, I was like, I'm just gonna go to a different location and see if there's a banker there. So I called. I was like, I can be there in 30 minutes. Do you guys have any bankers? And they were like, yeah, um, somebody can set you up. I was like, okay, I'll be there in 30. And I get there, um, and the girl helping me, she was like, so what is your business about? And I tell her, um, and then we just start talking about church and God and all of these things. And like, oh, you go to this Bible study? I go to this. Oh, I go to Bridgewood. Like, where do you go? Oh, she go to the River Church, I think. And it's just like, it was such a good like interaction. It just like you said, I felt like I was supposed to be there. Like
Yeah.
I went to a completely different building, and then something was telling me, "Oh, I don't want to wait till Monday, so I'm going to go this place." And then I met somebody that we had a very good conversation
It's a
about.
God appointment.
Yeah.
It's a God appointment.
it, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, those types of interactions I love, just when they're so like natural and like you feel like
Spontaneous.
you were put in that place for to meet with that person and to interact with that person. And we talked a lot about a bunch of other things too. If I went to the other place, who knows, it would have just been like, okay, let's set you up here, let's get your numbers, whatever, and then okay, leave. But we sat and talked for like 20-25 minutes, so it was cool. So that I'm very comfortable with. If it's just like a supernatural conversation, but like if it's just like a random person and God's like go up to that person. I've only done it like once, maybe twice in my life. Like there was one time at like a little downtown area, I saw this girl, like I don't know how old she was, maybe she was in her 30s or something, but she was like on a park bench just by herself, like looked really sad. And God was like, go up to her, go up to her. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then me and my family were there and we were leaving. And he's like, go. Like, no, I'm not. So I walk and then I turn around. I was like, okay, I'll listen to you. I turn around and go back and I was like, hey, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you're struggling with. But I just want you to know that God loves you and I love you and I'm going to pray for you.
That's awesome.
And that's like the only time that I've ever done that. And that's something that I really want to get comfortable with doing more because you never know.
Yeah.
That could change somebody's life. That could plant that seed and set them on fire for God. And just like seeing people, like if I wasn't a believer and somebody came up to me on my worst day ever and was like, hey, I love you and God loves you, I'd be like, I'd start bawling and I'd probably be very curious and start asking questions or like looking up churches and things like that. It just takes that one little thing to happen, that one seed to get that person curious.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're not like someone who is like, oh, get away from me. What do you like? Why are you coming up to me? But
I think it's all on approach
yeah.
too. And I think it's all demeanor and approach.
Yeah.
And I think smiles matter.
Yeah.
Kindness matters.
Mm-hmm.
You can wave to a person and it's going to change. It's all about walking in your faith. It's all about applying what we're learning.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for me, on Sundays, when I'm walking out of church, I feel like refilled, re-energized. I feel like I've plugged in.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just gassed up. I feel like I can continue on. Like I just, and I know like the messages, I feel fed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it, like sometimes I feel like, are they listening to what's going on? Because you know what I mean? Because I mean, it's so applicable to my life. Yeah. It's so spot on. Mm-hmm. And it feels like he's communicating, and they are the vessels. Yeah. And I just, to find that church, I know for myself, I found it. Yeah. I do. Yeah.
Did you try any other ones before going, or
was that your first? You know what's funny is when I was kind of spinning out. Yeah. I'm trying to. I'm see. It all kind of blends together. Yeah. Once you're so my dates aren't always the great. I can give you a roundabout times. Yeah. And I want to say it was around spring, summer. I don't know, somewhere in there. Okay. Some friends from work said, "Come on out and visit my church. Come on out." And I said, "Okay." Yeah. Okay. So I went, and I can remember walking in there knowing I was going there for them. And I walked out, and it wasn't the same feeling, everything. Yeah. I wasn't going there. God knows your intentions. Yeah. He knows your motives. He knows what's up. Yeah. You can't hide. Like, as much as you like to think, because I know for myself, I like to think of myself as pretty clever, pretty smart, all the things. I like to think of who I am. Yeah. And so, I think I'm going to outsmart the Lord. And so I'm going to go walk into this church and I'm going to check boxes. Yes, I went to church, and yes, I was here for this time, and yes, I brought my kids, and I can walk out and know that I've done all the list of things on the outside to be that person. Okay.
I like to call them Sunday Christians.
That's it. And I went in there, and when I walked out, I was like, okay, it wasn't home. And I was doing it to check those boxes. I was also doing it because I didn't want to be accountable, because I could go in there, check those boxes. I don't know.
Nobody knows you.
That's it. No one knows you. No one, or and the few that do, don't really know your story, because I was pretty new to the school that we were in and everything. Person that recommended me. And something funny?
What's it?
I actually, the pastor of that church actually has affiliations with Bridgewood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was actually one of my friends, I think it's her father-in-law or father, I can't remember, runs that church.
Yeah.
And so if that's not God saying to you, gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know what is.
Yeah.
But it's your motives, because my motive was to go there to check the boxes, to not have the accountability, and to go out and live in the world still. Because that natural tug that I know I have to still be in the world.
Yeah.
It's this natural gravitational pull that I feel towards it. As much as I don't want it, it wants me. And it'll do whatever it takes to be able to take it.
Yeah.
So that's why I said accountability.
Yeah.
So after that time, I never went back, and I Bridgewood is home.
Yeah, it is.
Bridgewood is home.
Love it there.
I do. I feel fed.
Yeah.
I feel fed in all the ways. And I know my kids feel the same way. My son just church.
Yeah.
And then now with their Wednesday class, because I not only have my Wednesday class, they also have their Wednesday class. And they don't want to leave when class is over.
Yeah.
So that tells me something too. When my kids don't want to leave church, they're getting what they need.
Yeah.
So I need to take heed, and go with it too.
Yeah. And I want to preface and emphasize that you're doing everything that you need to outside of church as well. You're reading, you're praying, you're worshiping, you're doing all the things. And I want to say that because I think that's where a lot of, like you were saying, you feel like spiritually filled and fed, like after church, and you should. I just want to emphasize that shouldn't be like, this is why I call them Sunday Christians, is because church shouldn't be
a Sunday 10 o'clock deal.
It shouldn't be like you're going there just to be filled and fed, and then you go throughout your and then you empty throughout the week, and then you go back to church, and then you're filled, and then you empty throughout the week. It's like, I told somebody this yesterday, I think it's like taking a sip of water at the beginning of the day and then expecting that that's going to hold you over. You literally have to just constantly drink water throughout the day to feel hydrated, and that's what you have to do, is you have to constantly be in the Word and pray and worship. It can't just be like a Sunday thing.
No, it's so true.
And like, you can't like a lot of people will have that fire, like, oh, that message was for me, that worship experience was for me, hanging out with all of my people, like, I feel so good now. And then you're going to go out into the world, and then you're not going to do the things you need to do, and then you're just getting emptied and emptied and emptied, and then refilled, and then emptied and emptied. So I just wanted to emphasize that it shouldn't just be a Sunday thing, and you shouldn't expect to go into church feeling that like that should be your main source,
Hmm.
because he is the main source, and you should be filling yourself with him every single day.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or else, like we talked about, the enemy will creep in.
And
It's
he's
so,
slick.
if your mind isn't filled with this,
Hmm.
he's going to fill your mind with other things. So you have to make sure it's filled and that there's no room for anything else in it. That you have no interest in anything else. Like, oh, I'm good. I filled my mind. I constantly throughout the day. I don't have room for any of your stuff. Go
Yeah.
away.
And you have to take things to him.
Yeah.
Go to him.
Yeah.
You know, I forgot where I heard it, but it's like you're not hiding
Yeah.
anything.
Hmm.
You're not sneaking around. He already knows
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
He knows it.
Yep.
And it's be open about it.
Hmm.
You know, I was real nervous, you know, about some of the subject, you know, we've talked about today. I
Yeah.
was really, but I have to say yes.
Hmm.
I have to.
Yeah.
I can't walk around in shame. I can't walk around with the weight. I I want to be a chain breaker. I want
Yeah.
to be that chain breaker for my children.
Hmm.
I want to be that chain breaker for my husband.
Yeah. And that's why I started this whole thing. Is because there's something so powerful about our stories and our testimonies and what God has done in each of our individual lives. Everyone has a different story. Everyone. And everybody's story is special. And to share it and put it out in the open, it could plant seeds. It could destroy other chains in somebody else's life. It could set people on fire to see your fire for him and what he's done in your life and get people curious. And there was something that I heard in like a men's retreat once is I've mentioned this in a previous episode. My friend Kyle, he said, unbroken bread feeds no one.
Oh,
And
that's good.
that's like one of
That's
my
good.
favorite lines ever.
That's good.
Yeah. But I love that. Um, so sharing your story and allowing other people to listen to it, it's so freeing, and it will feed people and it'll help you as well just feel free, like, and
And
all of
that's
like,
the goal.
yeah.
That's the goal.
Hmm.
And it's also, I think, a big thing is it's just a little piece of the pie to a larger puzzle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like repairing ourselves,
Yeah.
digging in deep and feeling those feelings
Yeah.
of discomfort and all of it,
Hmm.
because that's how we heal.
Yeah.
That's how he wants us to heal.
Hmm.
We're getting rid of all the garbage.
Yeah.
That's the pruning. We're
Yeah.
getting rid of the garbage
Yeah.
to grow from someplace better,
Yeah.
to be healthier.
Yeah.
And I know I want it.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's what he does, is shining. He wants to bring those things to the surface and shine his light on those things so you can recognize them and he can discard them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you said, we're not Bible scholars, but I am not, I'm not proficient in it at all, but I think the word is uh when they're like melting metals, I think it's called drouse, drought, something like that. so when they're refining them, the drouse, it's like the scummy part of metal, like the dirty part, it comes to the surface
Mhm.
and then it's discarded.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to pretty much throw us in his refining fire and have all of that come up
Mm.
so we can discard it, and all that's seen is him and his our love for him.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like, and I feel like getting it out in the open, getting your story out in the open is pretty much having the light shine on it even more, and like there will be even more people to help keep you accountable,
Mhm.
and even it'll build even more community.
Mhm.
And hopefully with each individual person that I have on here, new people will start watching it, and then more people will want to share their stories, and more people will want to come on here, because I don't know many people like like once I stopped living for the world, I lost a lot of friends, a lot of people I don't keep in contact anymore. So my circle's really small. So I'm hoping with each person that I have on here, they have more people that are around them, and then they watch, and then they're interested to come on and share their story, and then people that know them will watch, and then and it's just like a domino effect. So I'm thankful for you coming on and
Thank you.
sharing, um, and just being a part of his plan.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Um, but how about we jump into a couple more questions?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Let's see. Oh, have you ever thought about hosting a life group? I feel like you'd make a great leader.
I've thought about it. Um, but actually, we were gonna do. Sorry about the
Oh, you're
landline.
good.
We're old school around here.
It's all good.
I've thought about it. Right now in my life, where I'm at, it's really kids.
Yeah.
Kids, and then where I'm also at in my journey, I need to feed myself.
Mhm.
I need to get myself healthy
In the position to be able
and
to lead.
in the position to
Yeah.
be able to do that.
Yeah.
Eventually, one day, if the Lord has me there, I'll say yes.
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the goal.
Mhm.
You throw that, okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, because He's got my back.
Mhm.
So I think once the kids get into a little bit older and this and that, I think yeah. And then I think when I get where I need to be, yeah.
Yeah.
What it will be, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I'll leave that up to them too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I want to ask you, how do you recognize his voice? Like if he, and it's so, I love that you are so obedient to him, and like when he says do this, you jump and you do it. Well,
I
for the
I
most
don't
part.
know if I jump straight to it. I got that stubborn streak
Yeah,
in me,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I like to dig in a little bit, depending on where I'm at right now in my
Yeah.
journey. It's not so much dig in
Yeah.
and hesitate, you know. But I got that stubborn streak. But
Mhm.
how I discern His voice.
Yeah. Because I know like some people, because you said like you were talking about like the say yes. Like I
Yes.
know a lot of people will hear him and be like hesitant, and like they'll be like, I think we talked about it in Bridgewood for one time. It's called like delayed obedience is disobedience or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you just take that leap of faith and jump on that train? Because I like,
I'm the all in or nothing
yeah,
person.
yeah,
I am the all in, or why?
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, I've been that delayed. I was that delayed for this past year when I was away.
Yeah.
You know, fighting it. But he's so persistent in how he goes about. So like for me, it's he'll come at me, just him and I. And a lot of times it could be through like I know for myself it could be like thoughts will roll through. Persistent thoughts.
Yeah.
Persistent tugging at if it's like in my heart, or dreams, things like that. And if I resist or kind of dig my heels in, he'll come at me from a different angle. And he tends to do it through the kids, like for me, because my kids love him so much, and they enjoy him, so they'll go. And then he'll find whatever avenue it takes. And then if you say yes, it's just, you can feel it. It's this feeling. And you know it.
Yeah. Where do you feel like he's leading you right now in your life?
You know, I feel a sense of urgency. And I've felt it for a little while now.
Yeah.
Even when I was choosing not the greatest things. I still felt that sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And so right now for me, it's more devour as much scripture, keep in community, books, repair myself, build myself, put myself back together.
Yeah.
Because I have to dig in, like, and figure out why I am continuing to go down these self-destructive paths. If I can, it's like I call it like the circle effect for me. It's like jumping on that and going to the same rodeo. You know, if I don't start repairing that brokenness in me in those places, then I'm going to continue to repeat and hop on that cycle and hit that circle pattern. And a lot of that stuff also has to do with my brokenness and me and my relationships with my family and all those things, and my and just all of it. So I've got to start and dig in and fix me and hold up that mirror to me.
Yeah.
And he's going to help me.
Yeah.
I know it. And I think that this is just a piece of that puzzle, a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
You know? And so I want it. Yeah. I want it.
Your fire is so inspiring.
Thank you. No, thank you.
I love it. I'm happy you're back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Can you talk a little bit about your daily practices?
Yeah.
As far as pursuing him? Like, what does your day look like?
It honestly, it differs from day to day. It was different in the summer.
Yeah.
With the kids out of school. I used to start it with, well, during that time, it was actually during 21. So I used to get up, start it with our online prayer, get into the book, then get into the word. And then what I started making a habit with that is I started, when I would read through the word and everything, I would start, which my beauty, that's my Bible. It was, I actually received it from my mom after Starting Point. And it was a recommendation from Pastor Sue. So I got one of those fire Bibles.
Okay.
It's awesome. Did you get the fire Bible?
No, I did not.
Did you get the other one? I forgot the other one's name. It starts with a G or something like that.
I mean, I used it in the classes, but I have like a different personal one.
See, I ended up getting that fire Bible, and
Yeah.
it's been everything. And before, like, I wouldn't write in it. I wouldn't do anything. It was pristine. I kept it in the box. It's actually still in the box. I take it in and out.
Yeah.
But I refused to do anything in it. You know,
Yeah.
it was like, don't touch it, don't anything.
Yeah.
And so this next time around, I'm highlighting, I'm underlining, and so I'm also, when I'm in there, I take and I journal. And if something really stands out to me, I will copy the scripture.
Yeah.
And then underneath that, I'll also look to see if there's like a study portion with it underneath it. And then I normally jot down the gist of what that is. And so just to try to just get something out of it. And then normally after, I'll like journal. So that was kind of, and then I would pray throughout the day. And then since I was fasting different things and trying to get out of different things, I found myself in the Word. It'd be hours then, and then I'd step away, have on worship music. And then I was in it probably throughout the day more times than I was out of it. And cooking dinner with stuff on and everything. And the kids were playing. And the coolest thing is they get to experience that with me because they're hearing, they're visualizing and seeing it. So now that the kids are back in school, and then my hours are kind of crazy because I do the bus in the morning, come back, have like an hour, and then I got to go run up to the school, have 3.5. So it's like boop, 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 boop. So I try to, after I drop the kids off in the morning, I have this online, it's called the Sisterhood or Sisterhood Tribe or something like that, like Bible plan, friends through Bridgewood, and we all do like different plans. We'll get set up, and I try to do it then, or I'll hop and I'll grab my Bible, and I got my Bible buddy. Do you got one of those? You gotta get a Bible buddy. I'll tell you, I had to really back up a lot of different things to kind of make sure I am staying fed, and doing what I need to do to stay healthy in Christ. So I made sure I had backup plans for when that 21 days was over, that I still stayed in hardcore the Word. And that's with, I joined that online Bible plan study group. And that's normally runs pretty quick. So then with my Bible buddy, I'll normally, hey, what are you reading? And that was before the life group started or the growth classes. And so she'd be like, well, I'm reading this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to join it. So I would start reading, and then if something stood out or I felt a draw or what, I would snap a picture of it and then send it to her. And then we would kind of bounce, how did that make you feel or whatever. So that makes you really get in and really, really study and receive something out of it. And like I said, I would still do like my journaling. I still would highlight, underline, do all those things. And then now I'm doing that stuff still, but then I also now have my Wednesday class with you, the Thriving. And so we do all that. And then I also have my skills where we're into it like that. But then I also, for some reason, like a couple weeks back, I haven't gotten very far in it, but I was inspired to get into Revelation. And so sometimes I only get like 3 verses in, and then I'll close it up and lay down or whatnot. But it's scattered throughout the day. So it'll probably, sometimes it could be like at 8:30 in the morning to like 9:30, and then have to close it, and then 2:30 to 3:30, and then close it up, and then back at night.
Yeah.
I changed like what I feed myself in the evenings too, because I found that key to my rest.
Yeah.
So I can't use the excuses.
Yeah.
I can't find rest.
Mm.
So I need a gummy. You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how slick he is.
Yeah.
He's so good. And I love his sense of humor that he has, because he goes, can't find rest. All right, I'm
Yeah.
going to give you rest.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he's giving me rest, but I've also chose different things too. Like in the evenings, I will choose to get into his word. And then in the evenings also, before my daughter goes to bed, we read a chapter to 3 chapters, you know, in where she's at. And we've started at the beginning in Genesis to her Bible that was actually gifted through Bridgewood to her, by Andrea, one of her leaders.
Yeah.
So, because we had started reading actually a Catholic Bible, children's Bible.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh man, this is different. And so just this past Sunday, I went to Andrea. What do you guys read? And she gifted my daughter a Bible. How awesome is that? That is so awesome. And so we started it. Actually, we're on the rainbow right now. She's really excited about it. But even she goes, wow, this is a lot different from the other Bible. I said, you know, it is. But that just shows me that she can see the difference between the two, and she's getting fed.
Yeah.
And she's receiving it. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's throughout. So it can shift or change too. I don't ever want to like get into the place where I just, okay, at this time is when I do that, and this time is when I do that. Because sometimes I need it more than that.
Yeah.
And on my off days or whatnot, if I have the opportunity, boy, I just love to get in, and the kids will be doing their thing, and I'll just be, okay, here's breakfast, boom. Yeah. And I get in, and next thing you know, it's just time's gone by.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that quick.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a rapport. When you start reading it and just feeling open, like just so open, it's amazing what he'll give to you. Yeah. You know, and I've never actually studied the word like I have like now, this time around. Like, I'll go down to the bottom in the study section, and then on the bottom it'll go, well, you can check, you know, in Daniel, blah, 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 or Psalms, blah, blah, blah. And I'll go, and then I'll go, and then I find myself down this row, and then this, and then this. And it's like, oh, it's so good. And it fulfills you, and you just feel it. And so then it's like, yeah, I don't even miss like the old patterns that you got into. The world, the world shows, the world this, the what. No, thank you. I'll take that any day, any day of the week. Yeah,
that's awesome. I love that, and that's how I used to be like, I don't want to write in my books. I want them to look like nobody's
pristine.
I want them to look like nobody's ever touched them before.
Yeah.
And I had a Bible like that. I actually gifted it to a friend, but so I got a new one that has like the margins to where you can like take notes on the side. And once I started actually like you said, like looking at like the studies and looking at like the what are they called? Like the key points and like the commentary like below, and like looking at like the connected verses like in other books, and like writing and highlighting, like he wants you to have fun with it. He wants you to like dive deeper. He doesn't want you to just read it and then shut it. He wants you to be curious.
Interactive. It's so interactive.
It's supposed to be. He wants to have like a good time with you. He doesn't want you to treat it just like any other book, because it's
I feel
it's not like any other book.
No, and he's got such a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And you could just, you know it, you feel it.
Yeah.
Like, and when you really get in there and you switch, like I know for myself when I um, thought about who God was, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I've seen and not heard. You better just rigid, just don't make eye contact type of deal. But then when you actually read and see who he is and how loving and how he craves that relationship and how he wants it and how well he knows you.
Yeah.
And how beautiful just he is.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I want that.
And like I feel like there's no right way to read it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with reading 3 chapters of John and reading 3 chapters of John for the next like month.
Yeah.
Like it's like the more you read it, the more you're gonna get out of it. You can't just read it once.
No, and that's what I've loved about this latest our latest series
Yeah.
is how he's having us reread that chapter every day until we go and sit down with them again. And what I started doing with that is I said, okay, here's a highlighter.
Yeah.
And a different color highlighter.
Yeah.
And each time I read it, I'm going to highlight with that. And then the next day, okay, here's a different color. Yeah. And if it's something that if that same thing's speaking to me, I'll underline it or do something different. But I want to see what, at different times, different feelings, different emotions of that day, something else will stand out. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah. Something different will pop out to you in every season of your life, and it's meant to be that way. And it's kind of like, I guess you can kind of relate it to kind of like studying. Is like, let's say you give like this giant math textbook. Are you just going to read it all the way through and then you're going to memorize every single thing? No, you're going to actually go into each chapter, read it, and then read it again and like keep studying it over and over and over again, like until you get it. You're not just gonna be able to like get something out of it just by reading it all the way through. But yeah, I love like, even for me, like recently I've been like, this is like a recent thing for me. I've been trying to read all the gospels for the first time. This is my first time through, and I'm on John now, and I'm probably just going to keep rereading them over and over and over again until I get it, and until I feel led to move on to the next thing.
That's so good.
But I don't want to just like treat it like I used to, is just
get it done.
Yeah, like I used to be like that. I used to have like a Bible plan. It would say like, oh, read these chapters this day, read these chapters this day. And then I would read 4 chapters in a day and then walk away and be like, I don't even know what I just read. Like, I want to be able to just feel myself over and over and over and over again. Like that, like I said, there's no wrong way to do it.
No.
As long as you're actually like putting in the time to dig deeper into it and get something out of it, and not just reading it to read it.
And that's the thing, is you don't have to read chapters, or you don't have to.
I read a
you
chapter,
can read you can read a verse. You can read a verse or 2.
Yeah.
It's not what is it? It's not the quantity.
Yeah.
It's the quality.
Yeah.
Of what you're doing. And that's where that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
And I can remember when I first started reading the Bible, and they said start in Matthew.
Yeah.
That's where you want to start. I can remember starting that. And I'm like, what is this? I don't. And then I think it's chapter 24, the end days talk. The first end days talk, is that chapter 24 in
I
Matthew?
believe so.
Somewhere in that. I can remember calling up Pastor Sue going, okay, I just went to chapter 24 and I am freaked out.
Yeah.
She's like, Okay, that's hard. Keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and you keep going. I don't understand it. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. And I can remember finally when I got to Luke,
Yeah.
it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
The veil started dropping.
Yeah.
You know, and you started really receiving, and
Mm-hmm.
more things started making sense.
Yeah.
And then I can remember thinking, oh, this is where that came from, or the golden rule, or, you know, all these things started coming to light. And it's like, in a world that doesn't want to know him,
Yeah.
and that wants to deny him,
Mm-hmm.
and that wants all this stuff, I can remember growing up, the principles that are in there is what people always strive to be.
Yeah.
And isn't that funny, in a world that denies him and doesn't want him? But those are the principles. Those are the people that follow those things, or that have those qualities and characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
We really look up to those people.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's all in there.
Yeah.
The perfect.
I mean, this should be, oh my goodness, this should just be a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
This should be a requirement
Yeah.
in life, is to go through the Bible.
Yeah.
You got a question, go find it go in your index, find what is going on, find what you're going through, find whatever it is. Okay, where can I find that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's your book of life, man.
Yeah.
That's the book of life. That gives you, it lays it out step by step.
Yeah.
But we're so clouded.
Yeah.
We're so clouded.
Mm-hmm.
Let's uncloud this place.
Yeah. I love it. But yeah, I like, I feel like even if you're not a believer, like, it's such, like you said, it's like the perfect way to live.
Yeah.
Like, everything is in there.
Yeah, everything.
Everything you
It's
could
laid
ever
out.
be asking for, everything.
It's laid out. Even the simple things like Amelia, and I didn't realize this. And I'm so thankful now I have this Bible to give, and we read nightly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give her the instructions of life right there.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, we're on the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, man. And do you know, she shared the rainbow story with her little 4-year-old cousin this morning.
Wow.
When she was getting ready for school. And we were all on speaker, and she was riding to school, and my kids had it off, and she got to share the rainbow story with her 4-year-old cousin.
That's awesome.
That's on point.
Yeah.
That's on point.
Yeah. If I can go back to the rest thing and reading your Bible, what did you say you read, like, before bed? And you started sleeping better?
Started sleeping better.
Yeah.
And even in that tug, though, because the enemy doesn't want that.
Yeah.
The enemy will come at you.
Yeah.
And make things uncomfortable, and put things in your head, and really try to disturb that peace. But stay at it. Yeah. And I write out my prayers. Like, when that starts happening, I'll write out my prayers. Yeah. And I'll hit back, like, the things that I can hear him saying, because I know it's him, because it's negative. It's depleting, like the anxieties, the things that he tries to tell me. I'll combat it with, like, no, I'm forgiven. Yeah. You know, I have the Holy Spirit within me. Yeah. You know, my name is on the palm of his hand. Yeah. I'm in the book of life. I am forgiven. Yeah. You know, I rebuke you in those things, and I'll write it out. And I'll have on my workshop. And I mean, it's just all those things.
Yeah. I wanted to bring that up because I've I've noticed that as well. Like I used to, I mean, I still have like a really hard time sleeping at night just cuz I like most people don't know how to put the phone away like at night. But when I do get in my Bible, read the word at night, it's like a child having like their milk before bed. It's like so like
Soothing.
soothing, relaxing, comforting, and just like it like makes you feel like I can't describe it, but very comforted and like at peace, and it just like
Sometimes it really, like, sometimes for me, depending on what I'm reading
yeah,
at the time, like, I'm like, oh, it'll get my imagination going and spark, like,
yeah,
I wonder what that would be like, or
hmm,
I wonder what the thought process on that person was when he went there, or,
yeah,
there's different things. And it's so funny because I don't know about you, but I relate to, like, the apostles and
uh-huh,
different apostles at different times,
yeah,
like, and for different things that I'm going through,
hmm,
and I find that really interesting.
hmm,
And so I think like for like that aspect, I think it does something with me where it kind of sparks this wonder,
yeah,
and even to a certain extent, like adventure. Like,
hmm,
it's so it just brings, and it
hmm,
makes you think,
yeah,
and it's peaceful.
yeah. That's awesome. It's like, but yeah, I've noticed that it like before bed, it's being a child like in your father's like being a child in like your father's arms and him like rocking you to sleep. It's kind of like that. Those are those times, and then there's those times what you were talking about, like I don't want to go to bed. Like I want to keep searching. I
And
want to
that's
keep learning more.
and like, for me, when you said like a father and rocking, it's discovering that relationship,
Hmm,
because I've never, here on earth, I haven't experienced that relationship
hmm,
with with father and daughter.
yeah,
um it hasn't always been a positive thing in my life.
yeah,
And so the way I look at it is so different,
yeah,
and I know it's not what it's supposed to be, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'm kind of curious, even in that, to say, man, I wonder what it's gonna be like.
yeah,
Am I just gonna go darting and running and jump up and be like, hey,
yeah,
hi, it's me, or am
yeah,
I gonna be like, kind of shuffling over, bashful and shy?
hmm,
And the more that I'm into the word, I'm realizing it's not going to be like that. I'm realizing it's going to be more of the, it's you,
yeah,
am I going to faint? Like, what is, it's going to
yeah,
be more of that
hmm,
than anything.
yeah,
And how cool is that going to be to
hmm,
experience?
yeah,
I'm going to be able to experience that finally for the first time.
yeah,
And how cool is that?
yeah,
Like, can you imagine what it's going to be like to be able to have that one-on-one, hey, what was your day like today? You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just to be able to have that, I want that banter.
yeah,
I want to be able to cut it up with them and,
yeah,
like, joke.
yeah,
Is it going to be something where it's like that? And I'm really curious too, because it sparks this curiosity, like,
hmm,
how much one-on-one time are we going to get?
yeah,
You know, because if I'm craving that, like, time with them now,
yeah,
how would I know you're craving that, and
hmm,
I I want to know how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't you just want to know?
Yeah. Love it.
You know?
Hey everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to part 2 of my conversation with Nikki. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I did. Her passion, heart for the Lord, and childlike faith are truly so inspiring to me. I'm so very grateful for your love and continued support. It means the world to me. We actually hit our highest view count on YouTube with part 1 of Nikki's story last week, and I can't wait for you guys to join me next week for the final part of her journey. I appreciate you all, and I love you guys so much.